make a responsible will. He says one must not wait to grow old before making a will as it is perceived. He also says a will must be self-acquired before it can be passed on to an heir. On the kind of language to use in writing a will, Dr. Maurice Ampao advised the simple language should be used instead of technical language. He was speaking on GTV Breakfast on Friday, January 21, 2022.
If you are 18 years and above, you qualified. And normally when it's only privilege will, you know, we have two types of will. We have the wills under the Wills Act. That's the will that we borrow from the Western world. Then we have the Samansew, those traditional wills. And then we have privilege will, and that one is meant for the armed forces. So with privilege will, we don't have age limit. So once you're active as a member of the armed forces and as a citizen of the Wills Act, you can make a will regardless of your age. You can decide to do your own will. You know, you need a lawyer to it's not a must that you must have a lawyer, but when it comes to the Wills Act, you know, the formal will, there are technicalities. So definitely you need guidance from a lawyer. So what you need to do is that first you must find out whether you have the capacity. Do you have what it takes to make a will? Are you sound? Yes. So one, are you of age? 18 years should be the limit. Then two, sound mind. And then number three, you should be able to understand what you are disposing of. And then you should ensure that it is from your own free will. No coercion, no blackmailing, nobody is not using force on you. And then also you must also make sure that what you are disposing of is your personal acquired property. You can only give away what is yours. So you don't just go and make a will and give your family's property to your children. In drafting a will, you use simple language.
Ghana has adopted a global Standards 1 project to enable it to trace and rid its health systems of substandard and falsified medical commodities. It will also address the risk associated with patient safety and reduce the financial burden of the National Health Insurance Scheme. A report by Sarah Ofori.
Trading and consumption of substandard and falsified medical commodities have always compromised on patient safety and sometimes resulted in fatalities. The perpetrators are said to be at the helm of an illegal cartel who rake in millions of dollars annually. According to the World Health Organization, their businesses thrive on fragmented distribution in the supply chain, and this usually leaves regulatory bodies at their wits' end. Hence, the flooding of the markets with stockouts and expired products. As part of the National Pharmaceutical Traceability Initiative of the National Health Policy, Ghana has adopted the Global Standards 1 project to ensure the availability and appropriate use of quality medicines and medicinal products using technology. This global coding standard provides product identification data in the supply chain system.
I wish to appeal to all stakeholders to support the efforts towards the implementation of track and trace in Ghana to help us rid the market of substandard and falsified medical products. It is my hope that in the very near future, track and trace will no longer be an option, but a mandatory requirement for registering medical products in the Ghanaian market.
The USAID-funded Global Health Supply and Procurement and Supply Management Project supported Ghana in its quest to ensure transparency in the supply of health commodities.
Since 2017, USAID has required that all health commodities procured with USAID funding are identified and labeled using GS1 identification standards. We are absolutely aware of the critical importance of a strong medical supply chain. Life-saving medicines and health supplies must reach the most remote parts of all the countries that we work in.
Inaugurating the governing structures, the Minister for Health, Mr. Kweku Agyemang-Manu, called for harsh punitive measures against perpetrators.
The people who do that, what should we do to them? They are murderers. They should be sentenced to death. But we don't have any means, any system, any tool to catch them. And I believe we are getting closer to unveiling strategies to be able to grab them and see how hard we can punish them.
The governing structure include the steering committee, technical working group, which include the GRA, NHIA, the academia, and the Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Association of Ghana, among others, and the Secretariat. Sarah for GBC News, Accra.
82 fire outbreaks have been officially recorded in the Ashanti region alone within the first 2 weeks of this year, 2022. The incidences have also resulted in the death of 13 persons, with some others sustaining injuries. An official of the Public Relations Unit of the Ashanti Regional Command of the Ghana National Fire Service, ADO2 Daniel Entry, disclosed this to GBC News in an interview in Kumasi.
Statistics from the Ashanti Regional Command of the Ghana National Fire Service show that a total of 1,111 wildfire cases were recorded in 2020. This figure, however, reduced by 143 cases to 1,254 cases officially recorded in the region as at the end of last year. Despite the gains made last year, residents in the region are raising eyebrows about the rate at which fire outbreaks are being reported this year. Right from New Year's Day, the Ashanti region has experienced fire outbreaks on almost weekly basis. They include domestic, industrial, and bushfires. More worrying is the domestic fires, which destroy houses and burn occupants to death. In an interview, an official at the Public Relations Unit of the Ashanti Regional Command of the Ghana National Fire Service, ADO2 Daniel Entry, said 13 people died in fire outbreaks within the first 2 weeks of this year.
With this 82 incident that occurred, we realized that 40% of it were out on arrival. It means people were able to fight it or extinguish it before we arrived. So the number is huge, but to us, it's not alarming because of the education that we are doing.
With the intensity of the Harmattan in the region, the incidence of bushfires is also increasing. For instance, inhabitants of Nintin near Asante Mampong have lost their large tracts of farmlands and crops to wildfires. Food crops destroyed include cassava, plantain, and cocoa. They blame the bushfires mostly on hunters, some of whom allegedly set fire to the bush to force the animals out for hunting. The fire service has been educating the public on fire outbreaks,
which actually emphasized that every Ghanaian, every person living in Ghana, within this dry period, you have no right to send any fire into the bush, either to cook, to burn, to do any business, even common munches. You are not supposed to take it there. So I'm trying to use this opportunity to remind the general public that the Harmattan is actually intensifying, as we said. So they should not send any source of fire into the bush.
You're still watching News coming to you live on GBC News and GTV. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with the business segment. Please don't go away.
Time now for the business segment. And I'm Dorothy Achimai. The explosives disaster that occurred on the 20th of January at Apiete near Bogoso in the western region has got many asking questions about insurance in the mining sector, with insurance penetration in the country being just about 2%. The blast yesterday has brought to the fore the question of insurance policies entered into the mining sector. For more information on this, we have on the line the Chief Operations Officer of Bedrock Insurance, Mr. George Adair. Good afternoon and welcome, sir.
Good afternoon and thank you.
Welcome, sir. From insurance perspective, how do you look at the incident that happened yesterday at Apiete?
All right, so let me first thank my to the family that the incident. And I should say that, yes, there are various insurance that could make something happen what has happened. Immediately, we can talk about state insurance coverage, please. So we have motor insurance, obviously, for the truck that was carrying the consignment. Then there is what we call goods in transit, cover itself. Then we should have what we call public liability insurance. Now the auto insurance obviously pays the damage to the truck if it was insured comprehensively.
Okay.
And then we will look at the goods in transit on the first place. Now, usually goods in transit would have excluded hazardous goods such as the explosives. But being a mining organization, they are likely to arrange the insurance for the insurance company to grant an extension that will cover the explosives. So if that was done, then the loss of the explosives will have also paid. But what is very big part or most important is the damage to property and lives our. Now, the motor insurance ideally will pay for injury or death. But the hit of H-Box, that was by the motor vehicle. In this particular incident, you realize that the damage was not caused by the vehicle, but the explosion. And so that I which should be arranged to cover the operation of the mining organization. If that is in place, then those who sustain injury, those who died, or those who had their property damaged can receive compensation from the public liability mining company. But the liability or the provided by the public liability is not on end. There's always a limit. On the limit which in hardball, then compensation will be paid within that limit. I should say that usually mining organizations are institutions that do not joke with risk management, and so they take joint very seriously. So I will not be surprised that there are good insurance policies taken by the project calculating sector. So in a nutshell, I would say that there could be insurance policies that could have been arranged to cover this situation. And I strongly believe that the best policy is in place. So that this will be their comments to this.
Right. So that answers my subsequent question by asking that the aspect of mining that are insured in the country. But aside that, if the Toronto Gold Mining Company is fully insured, how does the insurance company come in to reduce the damage done so far or compensate those affected?
Okay, so insurance companies, we do contractual relations. So if the policy that picks up this liability, within that policy, steps would have been taken that when such a thing happens, this is what should be done. Now, in this case of this magnitude, it will be very difficult to get individuals And so usually you have the people coming together and you realize that the fear in this instance, opinion leaders in the environment that the thing has happened to be involved. You have the mining company being involved. And maybe passion to be dealt, and then based on the insurance. Now, insurance will say that in the event of loss occurring, such as what has happened, the total amount they are in that case, no matter the number of people that are injured or who died, property was damaged, that becomes the maximum amount that the insurance company will do. So that is why it will be important for the affected people to come together, and then once they are together, if the amount in case that there is insurance, which I believe there should be, then that money will be shared among the people so that no one person, that company, can take the money left any company. So in the case of this, how the insurance company will do. But of course, the government will also come in and then make discussions about evaluating what has happened. They may put some compensation by the mining institution. Now, irrespective of what government may recommend or what law may recommend for the mining institution to do, if they cannot recover more than what they have lost. So insurance will come to offer compensation by the some 40% conditions. And even if the public liability policy was not complete, but the operation, if it was arranged to cover known, for instance, someone to buy a public liability, injury, in that case, if it happens outside that premise, then there's no. But I believe that all they know the kind of thing that they do, which is very high risk, they would have arranged just to cover their operations wherever they found themselves, including transportation of the places. In that case, insurance will be very handy to offer the support. Mind you, insurance is a social service. When there's incidents of this nature, insurance will always come in to offer some relief and respite to people who are affected. But I should say it is very important that we take insurance
seriously,
because if you look at premium that they pay, sometimes you look at the premium and you avoid buying insurance. But if the event should occur, you stand to lose so much. And that is why it is important that people take insurance very carefully, especially for business. Because when you buy insurance, it is not your profit, it is your expense. And at the end of the day, you are better off because if the loss should occur, you have the insurance company to come in.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adai. That will be all for now. That was the Chief Operations Officer of Bedrock Insurance, Mr. George Adai, discussing with us insurance in the mining sector using yesterday's incident at Apiate as a case study. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, says it is working towards a smooth and easy way for pensioners to renew their pension certificates by digitizing the process so that they can renew their certificates in their respective homes. This was disclosed by the Director General of SNIT, Dr. Ofori Tinkwan, at the 5th Quadrennial Delegates Conference of the National Pensioners Association at Dodowa.
SNIT has always had the challenge of ghost names on its payment list, which is a drain on its resources and operations. As part of efforts to address the situation, the annual renewal of pension certificates was introduced to streamline pension payments. The pension certificates are issued to pensioners aged 72 who retire under PNDCL 247 and 75 years for those who retired under Act 766 and are renewed annually. Since 2018, the Trust has monthly been deleting the names of pensioners
aged 72 and above who failed to complete or renew their pension certificates. According to SSNIT, over 22,000 names of pensioners have been temporarily deleted for not renewing their pension certificates, and this has saved the trust some 235 million Ghana cedis. At the National Pensioners Association Delegates Conference, Director General of SSNIT, Dr. Ofori Tenkrang, said some retirees find it a bit difficult to renew their pension certificates, and the trust is willing to assist them in the comfort of their homes to help facilitate the process.
We have put together a team that would go to people's homes and authenticate them biometrically and make sure that any pensions that we've withheld is restored. I mean, this exercise, as maybe as inconvenient as one may think it is, has saved us over 240 million Ghana cedis when we started, since we started it in 2018.
The acting General Secretary of the National Pensions Association, Mr. Stephen Boache, was happy with the increment in pensions. He appealed to the government to do more to improve the lives of pensioners. The General Secretary of the Public Service Workers Union called for a second look at salaries of public servants so they can have a befitting pension when they retire. The Côte d'Ivoire-Ghana Initiative Steering Committee meeting has taken place in Accra. Friday's agenda focused on the establishment of the new organization, presentation and validation of the strategic vision, approval of the international staff, and the establishment of the institution's organs. Have the performance of the local currency on the forex markets and the prices of some commodities.